When the global pandemic started a few years ago, there were two things I did in terms of my career. One, I started a YouTube channel to promote my consulting business. Well, actually, I started the YouTube channel because I was really bored, locked at home, but I also realized it could promote my consulting business, and that's what I do. I help people develop toys. And one of the questions I get all the time when I consult is what's with adult collectors? Why are they so fickle, and how do we understand their buying habits? I get this question so much, well, I decided to combine everything and make a video about it. Is that irony? I don't know. Perhaps it's just my effort to get information out there. Well, the thing about adult collectors is we constantly want figures, but we also want to upgrade them to the best possible toy. So it's kind of like a never-ending battle. There's always a better version, a newer version, a more accurate version out there. But we also want it good, fast, and cheap. And we all know that doesn't exist except at Disneyland. Well, actually, no, at Disneyland it's anything but cheap. But it is fast, especially if you've been on the new Space Mountain. All right, that's not the point. The point being is that adult collectors, well, let's be blunt, have unreasonable expectations a lot of times for their shopping behavior. So you could go online and buy a figure, but you might be paying more from an online retailer than you would at a brick-and-mortar retailer. Or you may be able to buy it from a brick-and-mortar retailer like Walmart that has an online store, but you're not going to get the best shipping, and then you wind up getting a figure that shows up that's not exactly in mint condition, shall we say. All right, I know I'm using this as an example. That's a battle-damaged Wolverine, but, YouTube is a visual movement. What can I say? All right, so the question is, how do adult collectors shop? Do they shop online? Do they shop at retail? And the answer is they do both. And why? Why is there not one solution? Well, that's because online shopping and retail shopping for the adult collector are both very much tied to the emotional connection that the adult toy collector has to product, which is very unique out there amongst all sort of consumer products. And it's what drives us. It's acquisition. It's having a complete collection. This is the goal. A lot of us don't have a shelf full of sports trophies, but darn it, we have a shelf of the complete crew to the Enterprise, or the Avengers, or a specific WWE match. Having a full set, every member of the Fantastic Four, gives us a sense of completion, and that's what drives us. And having the option to buy online or at retail both have pros and cons to reaching this goal, the goal of, well, having it all, collect them all. It's literally there on the back of the package. I mean, I've had an X-Force set for years waiting for that darn feral figure. I've got a feral-shaped hole right there in the middle, just waiting to get filled. Wow, that sounded a lot worse than I thought it would, saying it out loud. The point being is that we want to have everything, and sometimes we'll even stoop to having customs design, like that Spot figure from Juan Soto I have in my Marvel Legends Spider-Man collection, because they won't make a darn Spot figure, and I want one. So we'll do a lot to have a complete collection, whether it's accepting customized figures or paying more for a product we need, and that's because the clock is always ticking. Action figures have a very limited shelf life. I mean, there's always going to be action figures, but that specific version of a specific character that you want isn't going to be on shelf forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So if you miss it, really the option is then going to the secondary market, i.e. eBay, comic book stores, your friend who has a big basement, and you're going to pay more. So that all brings us back to the online versus in-store shopping experience and how both have some aspects that appeal to the online collector, but neither do everything. So let's look at online shopping first. Obviously, it has the advantage of being able to shop in your basement, but you can also lock in a price and lock in a character, meaning you pre-order a figure, whether it's from Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Dorkside Tours, you can have a complete set of every Care Bear. You're not going to be missing someone. And that is very reassuring to the adult collector because that's what it's all about, is having that complete set. When you're missing one, it's a constant beacon that says, incomplete, incomplete. And it's even worse if you want it in mint condition, if you will. But that's one of the other cons to ordering online. While you might be able to get it in mint condition, you're going to pay more. It's sort of like if you want an extra feature, if you want it delivered with a, velvet glove, more or less, well, if you're not buying it in a store where you can pick out a mint condition figure right from the shelf, if you want it delivered to your house in mint condition, you got to fork over some extra buckage. And some big companies like Walmart and Amazon That's not really what they're here to do. On the other hand, you have a company like Entertainment Earth or Big Bad Toy Store where, yes, they can offer you a mint condition guarantee. But this usually applies to the package because the other advantage of buying in person is being able to examine multiple versions of the same figure, ideally if there's multiple case packs or if it's packed more than one per case, and you could find the perfect paint job in a figure without any flaws. When you order online, you no longer have this ability. Your cart is virtual. You're going to get what you get, and you're not going to get upset, as they teach you in ninth grade. So there, again, are pluses and minuses to both strategies. When you buy online, yes, you may be able to lock in the figure, but you may not be able to get it for the lowest price. You're obviously going to miss out on clearance sales, which tend to only really happen online. I mean, yes, I know, or I'm sorry, in store, and I know online retailers do have them. You also, online, miss out on the joy of figure swaps, which is probably only going to get worse before it gets better with Hasbro's windowless packaging that's now all over the aisle, or at least their area of the toy aisle. But again, unless you're there in person, you're not able to hand select exactly the figure you want in terms of packaging, deco, all of that. Now, a major con to retail, of course, is the fact that selection is going to be limited to what is physically there, and it may only be Lando that's left. And that's something that online has, is basically the selection is a lot more. In a way, it's two sides of the same coin, but it's really much more damned if you do, damned if you don't. Neither online nor in-person shopping fulfills all the needs of the adult collector. We want it fast, we want it cheap, we want it great, but you can't get that in either one of those solutions. So you have to sort of decide, do you want to be able to hand select your figure at retail so you can get the best figure? Sure, but you risk that figure even whether it's at retail. It may not be. Someone may have already picked it up. Your store may not even get it at all. So if you order online, you lose out on that, and what you really lose out on is the fact that you may have a figure not in your collection, missing, if you will. And there's nothing worse than having, again, one Care Bear not part of your collection. So you can go online, you can guarantee you're going to get that figure, but in no way can they guarantee that it's going to be the lowest price or that it's going to be without any, if you will, paint app flaws. And I don't mean to pick on Funko at all, they just make good visual examples. Every company has paint app flaws. But yes, when you get something online, it's kind of like, surprise, here's what it looks like. Oh, they forgot to paint one of the eyes. Darn. This doesn't happen when you buy at retail. Now, the other big thing is, for toy hunters, we have that whole thrill of the hunt thing, which you either love or you hate. Some people enjoy driving around town or stopping by retail stores on their way to work to find the latest releases. There's no easy answers here. We all have different aspects of the hobby that we enjoy or detest. And for those who love the thrill of the hunt, obviously buying online eliminates that completely. Okay, so you're like, what the heck is the point, Scott? Why are you talking about all this? Well, I mean, part of it is because I get asked this question all the time by clients, so I thought I'd make a video to try to simplify it. But what it really comes down to, again, is that emotional connection and that feeling that adult collectors, no matter what they collect, want to have a complete set. And there are pros and cons to buying online or buying on retail, but there isn't a perfect solution. And it seems like a lot of people out there, both the retailers and the toy collectors, are all kind of expecting this. Everyone wants to have it their way, but it's just not physically possible. You have to choose. It's sort of like, pick your poison. The toy industry is not Burger King. You can't have it your way. And really the biggest obstacle is understanding that these toys at retail are there for kids. And while collectors, we have a lot of interest, the system is designed to sell product to kids. All right, I hope this video was insightful in the pros and cons of buying online versus buying at retail. What do you prefer? Do you have one method? Do you have a hybrid? Do you combine them in a way? I know I do, and I often find figures at retail that I pick up that I might not have bought online because I see them physically in person. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your comments. Please help share this video. It's the best way to show support for this channel. Thanks for watching.